Hey Lewis, my bro. Thank you for sending me this, bro. I took a look at your trade there. Look, bro. I think as you've rightly said, it's a valid trade. It's a valid trade. Um, there's a few things that I took a look at. I didn't take the position myself. Okay, so the question when I was asking you, what's your P&L? What does it look like? I'm just talking about overall. Are you in drawdown or are you in positive P&L, and not necessarily if the trade was a loss or a win, because why? If your P&L is negative, then the type of trades that you're supposed to be going for, and that's the first thing that I looked at if it's a valid or high probability, is only high probability trades. Okay, so I don't know where you are there, but if you are in drawdown, only high probability trades is what you should be taking at any point. Okay, so you've broken it down quite nicely: daily, 4 hourly, so on and so forth. So we don't need to get into that. You know what's happening. So here's the first thing why I didn't take this trade, because there were much better trades that were shaping up on AJ as well as NJ, of which I took the NJ one as well, the drop in the flag there, So also, it's not just as easy as this trade in particular, if you're looking at it holistically, but also what was it that was shaping up at the same time? Were they better trades, So then you get into trade substitution, So taking out the ones that are valid and maybe going for a good valid, there's a valid, then there's a good valid, and then there's a high probability trade, So it's about trade substitution. What else is out there, especially with when it comes to the JPYs, if there's an entry on one, there might be an entry on others, So I had this on my watch list, but I didn't take it because there was better trades happening. So that's the first and foremost thing, not necessarily the trade in itself. But let's get down to the technicals of this trade. Now, what we have here is price gave us a double top, and we're probably looking for the third top here for some kind of trades, which did not happen. And of course, what happened is we came up and then we came back down into the pattern, which is good, right? But one thing that I was looking at the time was, if you come over here with me to the 4 hourly time frame, I was actually looking at, and I don't really look at trend lines that much, but I was just looking at this trend line and thinking, you know what, there's a possibility that price might react to this trend line and move to the upside, giving us a nice little top here or a beautiful little running channel. That's a possibility, but we're not there yet. But it's possible that price can go a little early. So what's happening right now? At that time, I saw that, okay, right now, there's a possibility that price might be reacting to it. Why? Because we've got this push up here, quite an aggressive push up above this area, as well as a beautiful little textbook 3 touch. Okay, beautiful textbook 3 touch, or you can join it right there, shoot from the hip. And so there's a possibility that whatever's going on here might just be a push up and a flag. Yes, it's not necessarily at the value area, but there's a possibility that it could be the push up and the flag. So naturally, I'd look for something that is just, when it comes to entries, it has to be amazing. If I'm going to take this entry, in that it has to be maybe like a nice 3 touch that I can see clearly, So let's go down to the 15 minute to kind of break down and see what it is that you took here. Okay, so here's your entry over here. You've got your first top there. You got your second top. We had a beautiful little retrace in this area as well. We've got the 3 touch pattern that's happening there. Oopsie. I think you had the 3 touch pattern like so. That's happening there, So here's the other bit, So with this 3 touch pattern, if I were to extend this line a little bit, that rejection there that you have, this little rejection that you entered on, there's two things about this rejection here. The first one is, if you're looking at this chart while it tries to catch up, is it's not really back in the pattern, So it's not necessarily back in the pattern. So essentially, what you might be trading is the double top that we have here, this double top area. So which is okay if you're trading that double top, which means this 3 touch pattern we kind of disregard it. Yes, we went there structurally in a way, but we kind of disregard it because now you're trading this double top. Now the problem with this double top is over here we don't have a good peak and trough, like yes, it's a little bit of a wick of a peak, so it's not, like if it was this kind of a trough and a peak and we had the double top, it would hold more weight for the kind of entry that we're looking for. It would hold more weight. This kind of double top, maybe I would take this kind of entry if we're right at the top. If this is my first 15 flag that's happening, definitely we go for that. But with looking at the trade holistically, definitely this would not be something that I'd necessarily then go for unless we had a nice little trough and peak in this area, where over here it was just corrective price action, a quick little spike, so for me, that's why I probably wouldn't have taken this trade, and it's still loading. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to say about this one. I think yeah, that's it, man. So for this kind of trade, and because of how price was looking, and it might be bullish and all of that, I'd have waited for, okay, I'm not too sure if this really is the first top, so I'd have waited for price to actually give us a 3 touch on the 1 hour and not just the 15 minutes. So price coming down back into this area and then giving an entry for something that has more weight, because the no, the HTF is beautiful, but then because of the pattern that we have, the HTF pattern in itself, is not the best right now. I would definitely have waited for 1, 2, and then the third one. Also because this first touch, doesn't hold that much weight, Yeah. And for this kind of a thing, I mean, there's a small little 3 touch there as well. I'd look for that kind of a 3 touch that actually meets this. If this is a little wick like this, I'd need a nice 3 touch, almost like one with nice depth that goes up to this area. Then it would give it more, just a little more weight, but otherwise not a bad trade at all. If your P&L is looking positive, and you got your good 5%, you bagged and all of that, go for this kind of stuff. If you're sitting pretty for the month, you can go for something like this, but otherwise, yeah, man, keep it locked on the higher valid trades. That's my perspective. Maybe you can get more perspectives from other guys in the community and see what's happening. At the end of the day, all our trading plans are different, so I can only tell you with regards to what I know how to trade and things like that. Somebody else might have something different from what they've tested out. So I hope that helps. I hope you're having a good day, bro. Cheers.